doesn't get much more devastating than that. What's the feeling like with yourself and the players, I guess, after that?
I think it's pretty obvious how everyone's feeling. It's for all of our supporters and our club, it's just extremely frustrating, and you can come up with all sorts of words to describe it, but you're obviously disappointed, but that doesn't help anything.
Well, I guess what is it, with in the last month, with finals well and truly on the line, to lose to 3 bottom 6 teams essentially with everything to play for, what do you sort of put that down to? Is it easier to put your finger on, or is it more complicated than that?
No, it's just tight comp. That's what it is. I mean, it's tight. I mean, yeah, it's. I mean, we beat Fremantle the week before, so I mean, it's like we're not a team that is good enough at the moment just to come out and expect to just blow teams off the park. Every game that we played this year has been a tight tussle at most stages. So outside of probably 2 games, every game's been tight. So that's just the nature of the competition and where we sit within it.
Is it just conversion that you put tonight down to, or are there other things that you look to as to why it didn't work out tonight? Oh
well, I mean, you look to give yourself an opportunity to win the game. So how do you do that? It was always a good Gold Coast were a good contest team, but I mean, you don't need me to necessarily recite the statistics to you. But in the last quarter, when the ball's in your front half for 84% of the quarter, and you have 19 inside 50s to 8, you have 11 scoring shots to 2. You're giving yourself opportunity, aren't you? So that's the hardest thing in footy. The execution, comes with practice, and we need to drill that better. I mean, but yeah, it's just extremely frustrating because the hardest thing is giving yourself opportunity. In the last quarter, we certainly did that.
Do you think the pressure of the moment is what played a factor in that, given you're pretty much playing for the finals and that sort of thing? Or?
No, I don't think so. I mean, if we kept at it, you can blame accuracy, but again, it's giving yourself the opportunity, and I thought we repeatedly did that, and we just didn't take the chances, and that's whether that's pressure. My opinion is it isn't. We just didn't execute when we needed to, but whatever it was, however many scoring shots to their 2 straight.
How do you feel you played the last 2 minutes of the game in terms of tactically and mechanically? Like, did you feel as if you got what you wanted in place to defend that ball in the last 2 minutes?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't reviewed it in detail, but live we had everything we wanted. Can't use the run in the last 2 minutes, so we had it set as we would have liked it. And obviously the free kick up the other end of the ground, we're pulled apart. I mean, players walking, including me, looking at the next centre bounce set up, players walking back to position, getting drinks from trainers, and there's a free kick and everyone's scrambling. So the last that part of the last 2 minutes was a mess, but understandably so. But after that, no, structurally very good. Mac Andrews just an elite athletic type who won an outnumbered contest, but we had the structure the way we wanted it.
It looks like the season's going to go the same way as it did last year. Is there a concern that the club is sort of in like a holding pattern? If there is a concern like that, do you think it's an easy fix, or is it going to take a much broader...
Nothing's easy in this game.
Yeah.
We've improved from last year. The competition's improved also.
But I guess to get to that next step, is it going to take like a concerted effort in the off season to really?
Hey, we'll have a concerted effort in the off season. Don't worry about 17 other clubs will as well.
2 huge games coming up. I know not everything is in your own hands. What do you need to see? Obviously, Sydney, Brisbane, in terms of effort. Obviously, you need to get 2 wins to be in the race. But what do you need to see in this final?
Well, I mean, I'm sure that it's hard for us to. We've got to get through the next, probably 10 minutes really, because then that's all it is in footy. You celebrate or commiserate for 10 minutes, and then you move on to the next opponent. And we've got to do that really quickly and test ourselves against the best. And probably, despite the result in this round. I mean, Sydney and Brisbane probably proven themselves as, you know, pretty close to the two best teams in the competition. So we get a good opportunity to test ourselves against that and see where we measure up.
What was your message to the players after the game?
Oh, the reason we have meetings behind closed doors is because they're just messages to the players. I mean, I'm speaking here now to mostly, you know, to our fans who are bitterly disappointed, and I can assure them that our players are, whether they believe it or not, they are more disappointed than anyone else. So, yeah, you just got to. You know, this game is, you know, it's a challenge. It's full of frustrations. It's full of jubilations. But you've just got to be able to bounce back from the devastation of a loss like that. And unfortunately, it's part of the game that we play. So it's always your response that matters.
It won't be much consolation, but do you actually take something out of the fact that you put yourself in a situation where, you know, there's so much at stake, and I guess teams just learn their lessons when they learn it?
Yeah, and that's I mean, it's cold comfort, but I am a big believer in that you've got to keep putting yourself in the position. I mean, you know, the easiest part, you know, and to your question before, the easiest part is we just start the season 0-6 and then just storm home and everyone's happy. You know, you win the same number of games, but, you know, it's like, no, we'd rather put ourselves in the frame and push and push and push and put ourselves in that position. And, you know, as hard as it is now, you know, you can draw on that in the future because you've been there, you've experienced it. You know, it's like any improvement. You know, you need to, whatever you're trying to improve in life, you know, personally, collectively, like, you need to stress yourself and then you get a response from it. And, you know, we've certainly stressed ourselves and stressed our supporters, and now it's how we get the response.
Well, I guess what do you take from last year to avoid that happening again, where, you know, you were so close and then there's that bit of devastation, then it sort of fell in a heap those last couple of games? What do you take from that to, I guess, stop that happening again?
Well, I mean, last year we had a lot of factors that you know, probably confounded at one time to create the last two games. I mean, I understand the correlation, but it's just ancient history to us. It's you know, we've got to control the things that are in our control, and that's the next two games. And you know, I think you know, I look at where we're at. We had some huge gaping holes in our game last year. This year it's a lot more solid, and I feel you know, I think everyone can live with being beaten by better teams on the day, but you know, your effort, the foundation of your game, you know, a lot of our numbers and the things that we look at really closely, you know, stack up. We just can't do it, you know, consistently enough for long enough. But, you know, if you look across the course of the year, outside of maybe one or two games, you know, we've been pretty solid, and there's been clear improvement. But, you know, people look at the ladder for improvement, and, you know, it is. I mean, if everyone had to put in who's going to finish in the top 12 next year, good luck to you, because it's that tight.
Yeah, obviously, you still got a couple of games to go in the season, but just to the off season, it's on the horizon. Do you guys have a clear picture in your mind what areas you do need to attack? I guess to fix some of the holes.
Yeah, we'll review the season at the end of the season. We'll just focus on the next two games.
Nick, so just Nick was just concussion, and anyone else injured tonight that you know of?
No, it's just Coxie at this stage. Harrison Jones had cramp late, but I'm pretty sure that's all it is. Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.